Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started today. Thank you so much for being here. Shelby will continue to admit people, but thank you everyone for coming today, and welcome to Hire an Owl, Prepare for the Expo. My name is Camille Elmore, and I am the Center for Career Development's Associate Director for Employer Engagement and Data Management here at Rice University. And we're excited to have you join us today, and we look forward to seeing you all either on campus or virtually for our expos this fall. And now I'm going to pass it over to Shelby Flavin Rosales, who will lead today's webinar.
Thanks, Camille. Hi, everyone. As Camille said, I am Shelby Flavin Rosales, and I am the recruiting coordinator and alumni liaison for the Center for Career Development here at Rice. I manage campus recruiting logistics, such as planning and scheduling for information sessions, coffee chats, and interviews. So if those are things you are interested in to supplement your Career Expo experience, please email me. I'd love to connect with you and get you all set up to meet some Rice students in addition to the Expo. So before we get started, let's take a quick look at what we will be discussing today. We will start with a brief introduction to the CCD and our employer engagement team. Then we'll jump right into talking about the expos. We will cover the in-person expo first, followed by the virtual expo. And then we'll recap with our key takeaways, and then we will open things up for questions. And we expect our prepared remarks to take around 30 minutes, but we're happy to stay on for the remainder of the hour to answer any questions that you might have. And I'll kick it back to Camille.
Thanks, Shelby. So before we get started, I want everyone to know that we're a very mission and values-driven team. And we like to always kick things off with a reminder of why we do what we do at Rice. We are the office on campus that empowers all Rice students to find and make their place in the world. And we believe that all Rice students are capable of achieving their professional goals. Our office serves all non-MBA Rice students and alumni by educating on resources and options, connecting them with opportunities, and empowering them with the skills they need for lifelong career fulfillment. One of the ways we live up to our mission is through the hard work of the people on your screen here that make up our employer engagement team. Some of them are on the call with me today, and everyone on this team helps connect employers like you with Rice talent through our career and internship expos and other recruiting events and opportunities. And we also have an incredible career counseling team that supports our students through one-on-one counseling appointments, career development workshops, and more. We do have a couple of new faces on this slide in our employer engagement team. We're really excited to welcome Allie and Dasha to our team. Dasha is gonna be the friendly face that you see if you come visit us in Huff House at the front desk, and at the phone and email as well. So all of you will get to interact with Dasha, our new operations and events coordinator. And now I'm gonna pass it back to Shelby to kick off information about the expos.
Yes, thank you, Camille. We're really excited to have a full employer engagement team, and we'll see all of you at the expos. And we look forward to meeting you all then. So our career and internship expos are open to Rice students from all majors, programs, and class years, and are a great opportunity to meet hundreds of prospective candidates for your organization. This semester, we are delighted to again be offering both an in-person and virtual format for the Expo to allow our employer partners the chance to recruit as efficiently and comfortably as possible. The upcoming fall 2023 Career and Internship Expos will take place on September 13th, virtually on 12/20, and in person on September 22nd. And we are still currently taking registrations for our in-person expo and our virtual expo. We're almost at capacity for in-person. So if you know any other friends or employers who are interested in joining us, we'd be happy to have them. Next slide, please. So one of my favorite things, and I think this applies to our team as a whole, but one of our favorite things about Expo is the fun, creative theme each year. And this semester, we invite students to find and make their space in the world. Classes just started earlier this week on Monday. So we're excited to continue getting the word out about the expos and continue doing outreach to students to let them know that there will be a lot of amazing employers coming to campus who want to connect with them. So our in-person expo will take place on Friday, September 22nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central Time at the Gibbs Recreation Center on Rice's campus and is open to students and alumni from all majors and programs. As the timing of the expo is optimized to allow as many students as possible to stop by, even if they have class for part of the day, we ask that you plan to stay for the entire 4 hours of the event. On the day of the expo, you're welcome to begin arriving and setting up as early as 8:30 a.m. We will have folks out there smiling, ready to help you get your table set up. When driving through campus, we ask that you do please obey the campus speed limit and watch out for pedestrians who are walking or riding on bikes and scooters. And parking information and other details will be sent to the representative who registered your organization for the expo in 1220. If you come early, we will also have our employer welcome breakfast, which will begin at 8:30 a.m. and will be available until 10 a.m. And lunch and snacks will be provided throughout the day. All employers who participate in the expo will receive a resume book of students who have opted in. And finally, while Rice does not have any event restrictions and masks are not required, we do ask that you continue to remain diligent and mindful of the health and safety of others when preparing for the expo. If you are feeling under the weather or experiencing any serious symptoms, please stay home, take care of yourself, and reach out if illness prevents your company from having any representation on the day of the expo. We are so excited to be offering an in-person experience for our students and employers this year, and we appreciate your cooperation and partnership in helping maintain a safe and healthy environment for the expo. If you are traveling to Houston, please be sure to make hotel and airline reservations that allow you to stay throughout the expo. We're going to drop a link in the chat to a page that lists hotels in the area, and we encourage you to ask if a Rice discount is available. If you need a mother's room during the expo or have any dietary restrictions that weren't listed in your 1220 registration, please let us know as soon as possible. When setting up your booth, we encourage you to strike the right balance between strategy and creativity. You'll want to attract students, of course, while also being mindful of your neighbors and not taking up more space than your 6-foot booth will allow. Try saying that 3 times fast. Booths for the expo will be laid out alphabetically. And if you're traveling from out of town and need to ship swag, please send it to the address listed on the screen here, and we'll be happy to have it ready for you day of. We also sent out this address in an email communication through 1220 yesterday. So please check your emails to make sure you received it and to have access to the address here. Next slide, please. So we have seen it all in past in-person expos, but here are our 3 top tips to make the best impression with students during the expo. So first, the most successful recruiters actively engage students walking through the expo, so get out from behind your table. Due to the expo layout, just about every student will walk through your booth at some point, so take advantage of that foot traffic to put yourself and your organization out there. Don't sit back and expect students to flock to you. And this dovetails nicely into our second tip, which is to talk to as many students as possible, even if they don't exactly fit with your opportunities. Making a positive impression on a student can have a strong impact on how your organization is perceived and can help with the process of building a strong employer brand on campus. And finally, we encourage you to bring alumni with you to the expo if possible. Having that alumni engagement when recruiting at Rice is so valuable, and we'll keep touting that now and in future webinars because we have seen firsthand the impact that that has when recruiting on campus. So you've had a great time at the Expo, you've gotten to connect with a lot of students, you're ready for the weekend. What's next? So to begin with, we invite you to schedule interviews and other campus recruiting events such as information sessions and coffee chats through our office. This will be a great way to capitalize on the momentum and interest you created by attending the Expo. And this is applicable to all employers, but especially those who will only be in town for a few days surrounding the Expo. If you do choose to host an event, whether virtual or in person, please be sure to request it in 1220 as soon as possible. While there is a fee associated with information sessions, coffee chats and interviews are free to employers. We are also excited to be offering a discounted information session rate. It's $75 instead of the standard $150 that you can add to your registration, and you can take advantage of that, and it is redeemable for any time during the fall semester. If you have any questions about that, please email me directly at sf55@rice.edu. My email is right there on the screen. And as I mentioned previously, all employers who register for the Expo will receive a resume book of participating students after the event. And we encourage you to use this document to continue connecting with Rice talent. New this year, employers can also connect with students directly through our OWL Explore Access candidate search feature on 1220, which is a paid feature that allows employer users to explore Rice student profiles and their latest resumes, apply a variety of filters such as graduation year and major to target specific student populations, and communicate via email with students to promote your organization and opportunities. Access to this feature is available at the discretion of our office and covers one academic year from June 15th to May 15th. And if you are interested in learning more about OWL Explore Access and whether it's a good fit for your organization, we are happy to speak individually with you further. And continuing to engage with students will be an extremely valuable piece of your recruiting strategy. We do tend to see a drop-off in campus recruiting engagement from students as we continue through the fall, closer to the holiday season. So we highly recommend you act intentionally before or after the Expo to make the most of your time on campus. So before we move on to discussing the virtual Expo, we're going to briefly pause here to answer any questions you might have about the in-person Expo. So please feel free to unmute yourself or drop any questions you might have in the chat. Anyone at all? No problem, David. Apologies if this was addressed already, but will there be a tablecloth provided with the table?
Kind of. So it is, we do the bunting around the tables. It's plastic. It's not super nice, but it doesn't look like you're sitting at a bare table either. So you're welcome to bring your own tablecloth to throw over what will already be there. Terry, that's a great question for how many we expect for attendance. Yeah, typically at least 1,000 students. Hopefully like closer to 1,500. Registration does include 2 parking passes and 2 meal tickets already. So you'll receive those when you arrive. Let's see.
Camille, can you get the question from Lily? I'll answer Jane right now.
Yes. Lily, the tables will remain in alphabetical order, with the exception of those employers who have chosen to sponsor the Expo, or sometimes, you know, if employers register at the very last minute, we'll stick them on the end of the alphabet because we can't make space for them somewhere else. Jasmine, your registration includes 2 people, like their parking passes and meal tickets. It's not required to tell us who's coming and purchase extra meal tickets and parking passes, but if they want to eat and park, please let us know, so we can make sure we have enough capacity for both of those things. And to edit your registration, you can just email ccdexpo@rice.edu or me at cve1@rice.edu. And Cheryl, we'll definitely have some way for alums to indicate that they are alumni. Even if it's low tech, it'll probably be low tech, where they can just put that they're an alumni, or even put their college in there if they were an undergrad alumni, put their residential college in their year of graduation. So students have that connection with them. Stephanie, great question about swag. This is something that we hear a lot from employers, like, what swag should we bring? Students like food a lot. I mean, food is always popular. Anything useful, so like water bottles. If you have cool stickers, students like stickers.
Bags,
Bags.
like a reusable tote, backpacks,
Yes.
things like that.
Yes. That was a lot of questions. I love it. Any other questions before we move on to the virtual expo?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Well, if you do think of any other questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or hold them till the end of the presentation. We will be here for the remainder of the hour after we're finished. And we're now going to jump into the virtual expo. So I'll pass it off to Camille to do that.
Thank you, Shelby. Yes, we're excited to be able to continue offering a virtual expo for our employer partners and our students. If you've never attended a virtual expo through 1220 before, the most important thing to note is that you need to set up your own virtual meeting links to be able to connect with students. It's different than Handshake, which is what we have been used to and what you are probably used to if you've attended a virtual expo before. So you must go in and add your own virtual meeting link to each of your rooms. And there is no built-in, like I said, no built-in video platform in 1220. So you have to add virtual meeting links to your schedules in order to connect with students. There are 2 types of schedules for the virtual expo. You can create schedules of one-on-one sessions, which are 10 minutes, or you can create group sessions that have a max of 20 students that are 30 minutes. And when you register for the virtual expo, or if you've already done this, you selected your schedule types. And from the list, so if you are registering for yourself and 2 other representatives, for example, you may want to select the 10-minute one-on-one career expo schedule, morning only, so 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. with a quantity of 3, so you can each have a schedule to meet with students, and then maybe you'll want to throw in a group session later in the day. Generally, we recommend that employers host like at least 1 group session, and then they have plenty of opportunities for one-on-ones. And you're not expected to have availability to meet with students throughout the day from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's a really long time. But we do generally recommend that you have both morning and afternoon availability so you can get a wider variety of students. And it's really important to have a 1220 account. Each of your representatives needs to get on, create an account so they can go on and see their own schedule, because it will update. Students will register at the last minute. If your registration has already been approved, you won't be able to edit your schedule for the virtual expo, but we can do it on your behalf. So just email us at ccdexpo@rice.edu or me at cve1@rice.edu. If I'm taking too long to respond to your email, it's because it's expo season, and you're welcome to give me a call. Shelby can drop my cell phone, not my cell phone, my office phone number in the chat as well. And the site to make an account on 1220 is rice.1220.com/hire. And just like our in-person expo. Employers participating in the virtual expo will receive a resume book after the event. We are going to send you the same resume book that we send to the in-person employers though, so you'll need to give us a little bit of extra time to compile that so you get the full list, full stack of resumes from our students. Very important, instead of furiously taking notes and watching back this video, we have created a virtual expo guide for you that Shelby is going to drop in the chat. Basically, it has instructions for registering, best practice for scheduling, and instructions for adding links to your individual schedules, how to email students who have registered for your sessions, and then tips for the day of the expo. We ask that you definitely review this guide in depth prior to the expo. I would recommend, if you haven't already, getting your links set up for the virtual expo as soon as possible so that students have a way to connect with you the day of. That's not something that we're going to be able to do for you. So you need to go in and set up your own links. So once you've registered and added your schedule templates, you can go in and adjust your time slots to reflect only the times that you or another representative are actually available to meet with students. So say that you do like the 10 p.m. to 1 p.m. One-on-one schedule, but you have something from 11 to 11:30, you can go in and mark those slots as unavailable so that students can't book them to meet with you. All schedules for the virtual expo must have their own meeting link. And make sure all links are accessible to your team. Whoever is managing the room to meet with students should have host and screen share privileges so that students are able to share their resumes. If you are not the host on a virtual, or if one of your representatives is not the host on the virtual meeting that you set up for them and they can't start the meeting and students can't share their screen, we can't provide tech support for that. We can't provide tech support for your company's individual virtual meeting platform. We won't have the ability to do that. So please make sure as you're setting up links for other representatives that they have access to those links. Making the most out of the virtual expo, very similar to making the most out of the in-person expo. Post your jobs and internships in 1220 ahead of time so students have something to look forward to, so they want to connect with you, and also so that students have a strong action step to follow up with you after they connected with you at the expo. And review your schedule on the expo morning and really throughout the day. Our students will register at the last minute. So just because you check at 10 a.m. and you don't have anyone scheduled with you at 3 p.m., if you have that slot open, students will continue to book throughout the day. So keep that in mind, have it up with you during the virtual expo. And then have your representatives test those links that I mentioned earlier, so make sure they can open them. And then you want to follow up with students after the expo. In 1220, you can bulk email or individually email each of the students who you've connected with throughout the day to follow up with them and send them any information about the roles that you talked about. And that's a great way if you're really looking to grow your application numbers. And then lastly, if you're on social media day of the expo, we'd love for you to tag us. We are Rice CCD on Instagram and Rice University Center for Career Development on LinkedIn. So we always love to hear about everyone's virtual expo experience. And then finally, we will have a troubleshooting Zoom room. And it'll be emailed to you before the virtual expo, and you can hop in and hop out anytime during the day if you need assistance. But again, please note that we cannot create the meeting links for you. So that's something that must be done in advance. And we can't provide IT support for your company's virtual meeting platform because we won't have access to it. Yes, and this is a new platform for us. It's a new platform to most employers, and we have not done a virtual expo on this platform before. So it will be a learning curve for everyone, but it'll be fun for the students, and we will be there to support you along the way. That virtual expo guide should answer a lot of your questions. So check there first, but otherwise, please give us a call or email me if you have any questions about how to manage your schedules for the virtual expo. All right. Now, we do have some key takeaways that we'd like you to think about as you prepare for both the in-person and virtual expo. And Shelby is going to drop that document in the chat now. But generally, we want you to make the most of your expo momentum. These weeks surrounding the expo are the busiest for recruiting. So even if you won't have your roles posted until October, consider, how you can engage students the most during these critical few weeks, so you can make the most of that expo momentum. Schedule interviews on campus. Interviews on campus are a great way, either virtually or in person. They're a great way to show students that you're really interested in engaging with Rice students, and use those resume books to stay connected with prospective candidates. And then finally, if your recruiting budget allows, we'd love to be able to give you access to the candidate search feature through OWL Explore on 1220. So you can create your own resume books at any time and search all of our students' profiles on 1220. And now I'm going to hand it back over to Shelby to close us out with some key reminders about fall recruiting.
Thank you, Camille. So the fall 2023 campus recruiting season will start next week on August 28th and will run through November 17th. When scheduling, we ask you to keep those dates in mind, as well as the ones listed here when we cannot accommodate any campus recruiting events. Those dates are Labor Day on September 4th, September 13th and 22nd for the Career and Internship Expos, and October 9th and 10th for the midterm recess.